of my co-hosts. They're back at the Gruber Law Offices, One Call That's All Studios. I am in Madison at the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison Studios. Bradley Nortman, Kyle Wallace, say something.
Yeah, welcome to not being told and left in the dark about your teammate being out of studio today.
Yeah.
Thanks,
over communicating or not.
Yeah,
I mean, we're just left here fragmented as now as a team.
And then I find out you knew for months about this.
Yeah, months. 3 months.
Oh, gosh.
I was informed by somebody not named Ben Brust at 11:45 a.m. today that he was not coming to the office.
Oh, wow.
11:45.
Pat on the back to me. I take full ownership of my mistake. Will you
Pat
forgive
on the
me?
back? What do you mean
That's not
pat
how that
on
works.
the back?
That's not how that works.
I'm giving myself a pat on the back for taking accountability.
No, that's not how it works.
I think you're looking for a hand in the air.
Yeah.
Hand in the air.
No, pat on the back to me.
Can
Not
I read
hand in
you
the air,
guys-
just a big pat on the back.
Can I read you guys the text exchange I had with Ben Brust this morning?
Please.
11:43 a.m. I say, "You're in Madison today?" ? He said, "That's a huge my bad."
Pat on the back to me for admitting it's a my bad.
I responded, "I agree." Then he said, "Yes, I am." Then I said, "Alrighty then, we'll make it work." That was our exchange today.
You know how I found out?
Riveting conversation.
Yeah, I found out because Strofe was complaining to our executive producer, Ashton, about the fact that our co-host was in Madison today. And
I wasn't complaining about the fact he was in Madison. I'm fine with that. I was complaining about the fact
we didn't know
that nobody felt the need to tell the producer who has to figure out all of the technological aspects that go into hosting a radio show in two different markets.
Ben, who did you tell and when? Because I don't think anybody knew.
I told Ryan Wollersheim, my guy Wooly, at the ESPN Madison studios last night around like 7 o'clock.
Did you think maybe telling us around 7 o'clock last night would have been a good idea?
I don't know why it didn't cross my mind. I just figured, it'll be all we're here now. Why are we re-legislate?
We're not re-legislating anything. We are
Thanks for
legislating.
finishing the
We are
wordplay.
legislating for the first time.
Yeah.
This is not a re-legislation.
No,
of anything.
It's remarkably
I
late.
already patted myself on the back and said, I'm sorry, this was my mistake, and you guys are trying to put me while I'm down.
Well, you deserve to be put down because, first off, you just, again.
Where do you get this from? Pat myself on the back,
Yeah.
couldn't even finish the word, and now put myself down?
The thing I'm doubly thrown off by is first that he said we don't have to re-legislate this, which, number one, we never legislated it in the first place. And B,
Nope.
I'm not entirely certain he knows what that means.
It sounded like it fit her, Ben.
What I do know is there's some big news in the sports world. 800-990-3776 is the Carbless Talk and text
Just like
line.
that?
List is more. See us on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison. And always listen on the brand new, easy-to-use ESPN Wisconsin app. We have known for a while now that Jair Alexander will not be a Green Bay Packer. He today has signed and reunited with his former college teammate Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens, who continuously have regular season success and a great MVP quarterback in Lamar Jackson, have failed to get to a Super Bowl. And they are a great team. They have been defensively. They've always been strong. And they signed Jair Alexander today to a contract that is $4 million in guarantees, $2 million in incentives, and I believe he can reach that $2 million in a very achievable way, more achievable than I thought it would be, as I was expecting it might be, hey, if you play 75% of the games or 80% of the games because of his injury history, I think he's got to get like 50% of the games in order to get all of his money. So when I see this, and we've had a lot of conversation with Jason Wilde and Mark Tauscher and many others who have been part of the Packers organization or have covered it for a very long time, you think back to Jordy Nelson getting offered $2 million on his way out, where Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams allegedly told him he should not do that, even if he wanted to do that, which he might have wanted to do that because he wanted to be a Green Bay Packer. Jair Alexander, for $4 million guaranteed and $2 million incentives, don't even think that was an offer the Green Bay Packers put towards him Kyle Wallace, this sits a little wrong with me. How does it sit with you?
You said a little bit wrong. It's just a hell of a lot wrong with me. I can't believe the fact that the Green Bay Packers let somebody the caliber of Jair Alexander walk for $4 million guaranteed and $2 million in incentives. So we talking about $6 million, right, Brad? That's
$6 million.
$6 million. Y'all sitting here, all the folks that came at me. Oh, he doesn't play. He's always hurt. Well, guess what? A team in the Baltimore Ravens that have championship aspirations decided when they saw a veteran like Jair Alexander with the injury history that he has, that if he is healthy, yes, again, if he is healthy, that he can make an impact for a defense that is already a good defense and got even better in the offseason, and then they added a veteran in Jair Alexander. If he gives them 13, 14 good games, that is a great deal. Matter of fact, if he gives them 12 good games, that's a great deal. The fact that the Green Bay Packers probably lowballed him is absolutely the reason why I am so frustrated overall with this organization and with Goody, is because it seems to me that the Packers don't actually go into situations thinking we got to do everything we can to win a championship. And that's why I'm happy Ed Policy is here and he's doing a little talking. And I hope he likes a fire under their behind so they understand it's not just about winning football games. It's not about just building up around Lambeau Field, and it's not about hosting the NFL draft. It is about hoisting the Lombardi Trophy, and the Packers have not done that in 15 years. And you know what? We all know, Brad, you, Ben, Strofe as well, and me as a Packer backer, we know the Green Bay Packers are not front runners to win the Super Bowl this year. But you guess what? You know who is a team that could probably win the Super Bowl?
The Ravens.
The Baltimore Ravens. And they did even more to fortify and bring in reinforcements to make their team better. So it's a shame that the Green Bay Packers are letting Jair walk for this price. If Jair signed for $14 million, I get it. But the fact that he signed for $4 million guaranteed, the Packers couldn't come close to that? Come on now. Come on now. He was worth. Ain't
They have
nobody
the cap
gonna
space.
ain't nobody gonna sit here and tell me Jair ain't worth that contract that he got from the Baltimore Ravens. Stop playing with me.
And $6 million in NFL salary cap terms, that's pocket change. That's walking around money. I mean, that's ironically, exactly the same amount that the Packers saved on their cap from getting rid of him. Now, again, if he was going to, if they were going to save $20 million by releasing him, and he wouldn't agree to anything, I can start to understand that. But you're only saving $6 million if you're the Green Bay Packers, and he ended up signing for $6 million if he reaches all of his incentives, which is a contract I would fall over myself if I was the Green Bay Packers to try to get him to sign. But if we're going to try to read the tea leaves on what we know and don't know about the situation, his dad, Earl Landis Alexander, active on Twitter, he said that the Packers gave him zero guaranteed money, all incentive-based. Again, that is Jair's dad on Twitter, so take that for what it's worth. But it just says to me that the Packers didn't even make any effort. They didn't make any effort to reasonably try to sign Jair Alexander. We know that Jordy Nelson walking out the door, Aaron Jones walking out the door. There is a trend here of the Green Bay Packers not making true legitimate efforts, and maybe some of them are right, but it was probably the right decision to go to Josh Jacobs and not Aaron Jones. But in a room where you have no backfill, unlike the running back room with Aaron Jones and Josh Jacobs, we know that these guys are solid cornerback twos at best. You don't have a cornerback one, and the rich are getting richer in Baltimore, an organization that can maintain its culture and take swings and not be complacent. If I'm a Packer fan today, I am frustrated with the Green Bay Packers for not finding a way to get an all-pro cornerback back on your terms, but terms that are reasonable. That's exactly what the Ravens got. Reasonable terms for an already stud backfield.
800-990-3776 is the Carbless Talk and Text line. Your reaction to Jair Alexander signing with the Baltimore Ravens, $4 million guaranteed, $2 million in incentives, as Ernie in a barn chimes in. Can Kyle tell us what the Packers offered Alexander? No, he has no idea what he is spewing right now. He has no clue.
Okay,
the one thing I will say to this, Ernie, is we have context of what Jordy Nelson was offered, which was $2 million. And if we're going to sit here and think that the Packers didn't, go low here, we're not utilizing history and the way the Packers have done business. Kyle, you have a right if you feel that Jair Alexander at this price would have been beneficial to be on the team, should have been on the team. Especially when you look at the cornerback room.
100%. 100%. And listen, Bert and Ernie in the dang barn, what we do know is we know Jair Alexander's father came out and said there was no guarantees in the contract. Now, again, We're not sure if he's telling the truth or not, but what reason would he have to lie? He didn't say a single word. Not a word came out of his dad's mouth on social media before his son got cut. Were we talking about Landis Alexander while he was going through contract negotiations? But once his son got released from the football team, that's when he started talking. So I think that man has no reason to lie, Bert.
And if I may, an additional thing is we also heard reports that Jair turned down bigger offers to go and play with a championship contending team led with
the Carolina Panthers was a team that was mentioned for the record.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe they would have offered him $12 million, $15 million, $10 million, whatever it is, though. But Jair sees this as a one-year deal to try to win a Super Bowl, and he's going to be a free agent at 29 years old next year to probably try to hit it big again. So he took a discount, and this is a discount that maybe he would have taken with the Green Bay Packers, but it doesn't sound like they even got even close to that.
And so the other thing to me when I think about it is that obviously the Green Bay Packers, a lot of guys on the team, he was beloved on the team by a lot of his teammates, right? And so the Green Bay Packers, a lot of players were trying to probably politic, and we know Xavier McKinney, it seemed like he wanted him to stay around, but that was Jair's business, but he wanted him to stay around. And when I look at it and I see that Lamar Jackson went to their general manager in Baltimore and said, hey, y'all got to go get him. Y'all got to go get him. Right? He recruited Jair Alexander to come there. Well, y'all cannot sit here and tell me that Baltimore Raven football team is not going to be better off now having Jair Alexander. If you look at their defensive backing core, right, you think that's a better defensive backing core than what the Green Bay Packers have.
Oh, yeah.
Other than the guy who's a rookie from last year, Wiggins, and I'd probably take him over the guys that we have, that's a good football team right there. Jair chose the opportunity to win a championship over going to a bad football team. We got to stop with this Jair hate, man. Yes, he was injured, absolutely. But the Green Bay Packers should have tried to negotiate in good faith, and from the reports or from what's coming out from the past with Jordy Nelson and what's coming out from the past where we know with Aaron Jones and what's coming out from Jair Alexander's father, it seems like the Green Bay Packers didn't approach this with good faith. They wanted to get the deal they wanted to get, and that's their choice. But hopefully Jair doesn't come back here when they play the Baltimore Ravens and pick off our quarterback or lock up our number one guy, or we don't see Jair Alexander in the an AFC championship while we sitting our ass at home.
So part of me understands frustration from fans that I'm seeing on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee, as well as the Carbless Talk and Text line. There's a lot of deep-rooted memories of what the last 3 years were with Jair Alexander. The difference is, although Jair did not play as much as anyone would have wanted to play in the last 3 years. Obviously, it's been reported half the snaps over the last 3 years, 50% of the snaps, he hasn't even been on for that. It's been like 45 to 48% of the time that he's been available for the Green Bay Packers. But this is a different contract. This is a different number. This is something where, like, what do you have to lose? If the teammates like Jair Alexander, and they would, like, Jordan Love was like, I love Ja. Like, Ja's got to do what Ja's got to do. And right now, Jair was left with no options other than to go find a new team. So part of me understands the frustration of, like, well, Packers didn't want him. Jair didn't want to be here. I only think it got to that because the Packers didn't actually offer him something, which I think is wrong when you, like, this is just my opinion. We talked about it with Tausch.
Yep.
Forget the disrespect for a sec. From a team standpoint and a talent standpoint, $6 million to have an all-pro at a cheap price on a prove-it deal year? I don't see the downside of that. That's where I'm struggling. Forget the disrespect. Forget the pass. It's about where we are for the Packers and where they're trying to go. It doesn't make sense why they didn't offer him more than they did, but Alex Strofe, we go to you.
I have a little show news for you, fellas.
What is the show news?
Every once in a while, I do my job around here. Every once in a while. Jair's father, Landis Alexander, scheduled to appear with us at 3:30 this afternoon.
Oh, buddy.
I like to hear that. I look
forward to it. I want to hear what he has to say.
We're going to hear from the horse's mouth, Ernie in the barn.
I love my guy Ernie, and I know Strofe does too. But I love Ernie that Kyle's just.
I'm going at Ernie.
No, you don't. No, you don't. No, you don't get to do. I love Ernie, but
Ernie was talking slick today. I usually like Ernie in the barn, but you know what? He's talking real leapy today, real froggy today. So I just felt I need to bite back. Talking about how does he know?
A little lippy with Kyle.
You know, I like that back talk.
800-990-ESPN is the Carbless Talking text line. Your reaction to the $4 million the Ravens are paying Jair Alexander with $2 million incentives. He was offered more money to go elsewhere. The Packers allegedly, according to Jair's father, who is scheduled to appear with us at 3:30, says there was no guaranteed money offered by the Green Bay Packers. I'm fascinated by this whole thing because I just don't see how you don't offer anything reasonable to a guy in a prove-it year with the cornerback room that you have. But maybe I'm crazy. We'll continue to have this conversation with you, KBN Nation, next.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN.
I said, baby, we got to do more sucking. And so I called the company. I said, listen, y'all put this thing in here. Y'all need to come on
ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. On this show, it's always football season.
Yes, it'd be awesome to see him take the Rodgers year 3 jump, the Favre year 3 jump, but he's going to be the quarterback for the foreseeable future here.
Wilde and Tausch, presented by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
So when you keep saying pivotal year, I just wonder what is that fulcrum point that you actually think is going to happen?
Weekdays from 9 to noon on 94.5 ESPN, ESPN Milwaukee's YouTube channel, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Summer in Milwaukee means a couple of things: Brewers baseball and live music. Get the best of both when the Brewers take on the Rockies June 27th, featuring a post-game concert by Nelly. Then the first 25,000 fans at the game on June 28th get a Pat Murphy Manager of the Year bobblehead, courtesy of Toyota. Get ready for a weekend you'll be talking about all summer. Get your tickets at Brewers.com.
At Citizens Bank, community banking is you, growing your business with a partner who gets it. It's you, buying your first home with a lender who makes it easy. It's you, building a future with savings that work just as hard as you. And it's us, working together to strengthen our community. Because at Citizens Bank, community banking means you plus us. Visit us at citizensbankwi.bank. Citizens Bank is member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
Summerfest is almost here, and we're going to send you to all 9 days. It's Summerfest on us. Download the ESPN Wisconsin app and register for your chance to bring a friend and have the best summer ever at the big gig. Summerfest on us. Register today in the ESPN Wisconsin app under the contest tab.
The Golden Mast is offering relaxing rides on Okauchee Lake aboard their brand new Bay Runner pontoon patio. Enjoy 2-hour cocktail cruises on Thursdays and Sundays. Get tickets at goldenmastin.com. Private event rentals also available. Bigger boat, more people, more fun. goldenmastin.com.
Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Hey, this is Mike from Infinity Exteriors. Buying a roof, siding, or windows can feel overwhelming. Hidden costs, confusing contracts. We don't play that game. We educate you so you can decide. And when you know the facts, Infinity Exteriors is the clear choice. Since 1997, we've installed peace of mind with no surprise upcharges, flexible budgets, and immediate financing. Infinity Exteriors, saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Visit infinityexteriors.com.
This is an ad by BetterHelp.
With more than 35,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served more than 5 million people globally. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/timeout. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/timeout.
Turn your driveway into the basketball court of your dreams with Precision Sports, Southeastern Wisconsin's dealer for Mega Slam, Ironclad, and Dominator hoop systems. From installation to customizable painted court lines, Precision Sports is a slam dunk. PrecisionSportsOnline.com.
Earth Justice is a national legal nonprofit defending the environment and people's health. Until justice stands for all, our lawyers will never rest. More at earthjustice.org/neverrest. Earth Justice, because the earth needs a good lawyer.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
If I could find a way to see this train, I'd run away to some fortune.
Seeing your reaction on the Carbless Talk and Text line 800-990-3776. This is more. To the news, Jair Alexander signed with the Baltimore Ravens for $4 million guaranteed, $2 million in incentives. It's Kyle, Brust, and Ortman across ESPN Wisconsin. Get us on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison, or listen on the ESPN Wisconsin app. Let's head to the phone lines, shall we? 800-990-3776. Let's go to Ference in Whitefish Bay. Ference, your thoughts on Jair Alexander?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
What up?
Howdy.
Hey, I just had a few things. So Jair played 34 games in 4 years, 4, 16, 7, and 7. We gave him $30 million guarantee or as signing bonus on his second contract. That's almost $1 million a game guaranteed. That's just a signing bonus. That's not guaranteed. He made $60 million of that to play 34 games. Out of the 34, he could have played 34 more. In your history of, obviously, Aaron Rodgers and Devontae in recent history and past, there's been a few that have been missed, but the Packers cut guys earlier than later. Now, what of those guys, Rodgers and Devontae included, would you have been like, oh, well, how many times were you like, we should have signed them for sure, we should have gotten them for sure? They obviously were right, and they're the heads in the room that know what the decision needs to be made. So I just don't understand.
I think there's some interesting points that you made. I appreciate the call, Farron. Some interesting points that you made. Brad, if you want to jump in.
Yeah, I'll jump
yours,
in.
Former or NFL player.
Yeah, I totally understand the pushback and the fan frustration on the contract that he earned. I'll put it that way. He earned it because Jair did play a lot early in his career and was all-pro. And the year that he did play a full season, he was also all-pro. So the Packers saw that when this man's on the field, he's an all-pro, so let's give him an all-pro type contract. Nobody could have foreseen the amount of injuries that would come under Jair's second contract. That doesn't mean he didn't earn it, and it doesn't mean it wasn't a good contract when the contract was actually made. Now, I would just say that as you're looking forward to 2025, those years, you take them into consideration, wondering how much can Jair get you in any given year. But you got to look at 2025. Don't let 2022 and 3 and 4 cloud your vision or frustrate you because you say, okay, well, we've already paid this guy money. We can't possibly give him more. That's not the mentality you need to have. The mentality you need to have is, what does he contribute to our football team? What is that worth to us? And without him, how good is our cornerback room? I totally understand the frustration with a big contract and him only playing 34 games. Totally get it. But you got to isolate that and think about 2025. Can he be on the field? What's that worth to us? How good are we when he's not on the field? Those are the reasons that I said you got to find a way to bring Jair back for a deal that makes sense for both of them, because what you already paid him is sunk cost. He earned it. It's sunk cost, it's gone. But this is about 2025, and this is about a championship window that's open right now. And I'm always of the belief that you stockpile as much talent as you can, and letting somebody walk out the door for a $6 million contract elsewhere, that's painful, and that cuts deep.
Yes, for me, it's so hypocritical of us Packers fans, and we love our Green Bay Packers, but to sit here and talk about injuries, I get it. I was not satisfied with Jair Alexander and his not being available to play for the Green Bay Packers. Injuries happen, though. But when I look at it, if you cannot tell me that you believe Keyshawn Nixon, who on average makes $6 million a year, is worth more than Jair Alexander, you can't tell me you believe that. You can't tell me Nate Hobbs, who, by the way, we're talking about injuries, right, Ben and Brad? We're talking about hurt, right? Nate Hobbs he's had injuries all throughout his career, but I don't see y'all up in arms at the $12 million that he's going to get paid. And I can tell you this right now, Nate might be a good football player, but he ain't no damn Jair Alexander. So we're picking and choosing what we want to be mad and frustrated about instead of being consistent. If you don't like the fact that Jair Alexander was hurt a lot, guess what? Y'all might be upset about Nate Hobbs and the money he makes and how injured he's going to be. So I'm just saying, y'all, there needs to be some consistency here. And ain't no way in the world you can tell me again that Nate Hobbs and Keyshawn Nixon are worth more than Jair Alexander, even while Jair isn't healthy.
800-990-3776. We'll go to AJ in Baltimore, our resident Packers fan. Boots on the ground. We got a field reporter out there in Baltimore. AJ, what do you got?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's
Kyle,
happening?
you're my dog.
Baby.
So my office is 3 blocks from the stadium in Baltimore here. I'm surrounded by Ravens fans. I had 3 managers pop into my office today, and they go, "What you know about this Jerry?" So, I mean, for $4 million, I told them they're going to get maybe 6 games out of this guy. I don't understand the uproar. I understand letting him walk. Okay, we could have saved money, but for what? We've got young up-and-comers. You got to trust the process. He would have been a good team guy to have, but we saw what he did last year. We just can't depend on it, right? So go with what you know.
Yeah, I appreciate the call, AJ, and love having you boots on the ground. I'm still having this hard time with the trust the process and move. Like, we're talking about pennies to the salary cap to bring back a guy on a prove-it deal, where if it goes wrong, like, it's okay if it goes wrong. It's better than, in my opinion, going out with Keyshawn Nixon, Carrington Valentine, and Nate Hobbs. I get the whole availability argument. I get it. See, now you're doing that in jest because that's what they were doing. They were playing around with Bo Melton for half need, half let's just see what happens, putting Bo Melton back there in the secondary in mandatory minicamps. I just want to hear that. I think everyone's just so scarred by who he was in the last contract and is not able to separate the frustrations that they had from Jair as the player under the last contract versus looking at this as a completely different scenario. If true about Jair Alexander's father's tweet, who Jair Alexander's father, Landis, will be joining us here on Kyle Brust and Ortman at 3:30, he said that the Packers did not even offer Jair any guaranteed money. And I know the Packers move on at certain points, but this is in a position where I think they're in a position to do so. But we're going to find out if the Packers are smart, because to the caller, Ferentz in Whitefish Bay, Jordy Nelson moved on after the $2 million offer that we've heard about from Jason Wilde to the Raiders for about $12 million, and he had close to 1,000 yards, if not 1,000 yards on my recollection. There's been times where they moved on from players who have had good moments. I mean, I think Micah Hyde comes to mind.
Aaron Jones had good moments.
There's also
He's still a stud.
Yeah, he is.
There's also some ones where, I am typically in favor of the move on before it's too late. But it's not like you're cutting a guy where you're saving so much money that you're helping yourself in the future. This was an achievable contract with the cap space that you have, where I think the risk was low enough where I would have entertained giving him, or at least offering him. I mean, cripes, if he wanted to be in Green Bay, which I don't know if he did, but to not offer any guaranteed money on this alleged tweet from Landis, it just seems like we wasted everyone's time for the last 6 months.
Well, and, the cornerback room is plug and play. This is not the offensive line where if one person is removed and a new person in there, they're not like a cohesive unit to where you need to make sure that you have as much consistency as possible. If Jair is out, it's next man up, and it's mostly one-on-one. And even if you're defending in zone, you take your zone coverage. There's a little bit of communication that goes on in the back end, but it's very much man versus man. So if Jair is out, let's say Jair plays 8 games. 8 games for the Baltimore Ravens. Hopefully for their sake, hopefully it's games that matter. That's well worth $6 million if he can play at even a Pro Bowl level. I don't see the downside, as you were saying. $6 million is a rounding error when it comes to the cap on any given NFL year. So even if he does play half the games, so what? You've got a great player for half the games, and if it's $6 million, it's $6 million. It's a small price to pay for having a guy on your team that's a stud when he can play.
Yeah, I mean, again, when you look at the highest paid corners, and granted, Jair was once one of the highest paid corners. Corners get paid a lot of money because it's nice to have somebody that can really disrupt the opposing team's offense. We have to understand how important it is to have somebody in the division that we are in where, let's just be honest, there's a lot of studs in this division and wide receiver. There's a lot of great number ones and some really good number twos, and it would be nice to be able to have an absolute eraser. The Green Bay Packers are going to have to play a lot of team defense this year. They're going to have their ups, they're going to have their downs, but we're going to see what happens. But if the Green Bay Packers get cooked and torched by Justin Jefferson, if they get cooked and torched by Amon-Ra St. Brown, if we see these type of things, Rome Odunze, if we get cooked by these guys, then we'll be scratching our heads, looking hindsight saying, why did we do this? Why did we move on from Jair?
And the other thing real quick is you look at the Ravens, this is a team that's not complacent, right? They have a bona fide great team. As you said, Kyle, one of the few teams that are actually true Super Bowl contenders. And they were knocking on the door both years, and they said, we're not satisfied. We're not complacent. We're willing to bring in a one-year flyer on a guy, even though they drafted another cornerback in the first round last year. So maybe he takes a little bit of reps away from that guy. They say, so what? It's worth it. Our culture is strong enough. Our desire to win is so great that we're going to go ahead and we're going to take this, air quotes, risk on a guy on a one-year flyer.
Brad, as a guy who played in a Super Bowl as a team, right, what will be your response if you saw the Carolina Panthers or the Jags go out and make these moves?
I would say that the message is being sent that the time is now, that there is a sense of urgency, that there's belief among the top all the way down that you have a team capable of doing it, so it makes sense to go out there and take risks, if you're going to even call this a risk, on a guy like Jair Alexander. That's what both teams did, in fact. The year that the Jags went to the AFC Championship game, at the trade deadline, went out and got Marcel Darius, went out and got guys in free agency or at the trade deadline, and even the Carolina Panthers got Jared Allen at the trade deadline, went and got him because we looked at needs, said this year can be special. Now let's go fill holes however we can at semi-low risk, and it worked out for both teams. Not to Super Bowl championship, but further than any of those organizations had got to that point.
800-990-3776. Ernie in a barn chimes back in. He's just trying to lighten the load on Jair. He did what he thought was best and checked out of Green Bay mid last year. Don chimes in. Hopefully Ed Policy will make meaningful changes to how things are done around Green Bay. Whether you disagree or agree with the Packer philosophy, this shouldn't be shocking to you. I just think it's a different situation because I still don't even like using the word risk based off the $4 million that they paid him in guaranteed money to be somebody that if you get something, it's upside, you have the money to spend it. The Baltimore Ravens are investing in their team. The Packers are continuing to do what they do and moving on from guys and then investing in that young core to develop. We're just going to need to see big improvements from Keyshawn Nixon as a coverage corner and Carrington Valentine to be somebody who is taking, I hate to say it, another step because he's taken those next steps as a 7th-round pick, but he needs to take another step with his role with the Green Bay Packers. Strophy, need to talk to you since I'm in Madison.
Oh, great.
What do you think right now? Are you feeling the wheel of Strofe?
Am I feeling the wheel of Strofe? I guess I don't understand the question.
Yes. Do you want to do that next, buddy?
Kyle?
Wheel of Strofe!
Well, I guess it's spoken for us.
Next.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman.
Is one of the things that your girlfriend gets upset with is you interrupting her like this?
Probably. I just complimented you. What the hell?
On ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The deals are heating up at the Summer Savings Event all summer long at Cunis. Get the hottest savings of the year at nearby Milwaukee Metro Cunis locations in Oak Creek, Greenfield, and the new Cunis Hope Chevrolet on West Metro Auto Mall. We have sizzling new vehicle specials on the most popular cars, trucks, and SUVs from Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC. Or with one of our 10 pre-owned super specials, you'll be swimming in a pool of savings. Plus, keep your vehicle refreshed with our service specials on brakes, tires, and oil changes.
I'm Brian Bohm, General Manager of Cunis of Oak Creek.
And I'm Bill Eater, General Manager of Cunis of Greenfield.
We would like to invite you to take advantage of these great monthly specials.
And remember that your vehicle will be covered by our exclusive No Fear lifetime powertrain warranty included with new and qualified pre-owned purchases.
Call or stop in today for your VIP appointment.
Get outside and enjoy the summer savings event at Cunis. Start your search online at CunisMilwaukee.com.
Kyle Brust-Nortman's Ben Brust here for Grimal and Associates Insurance. They do what anyone with a growing family, like myself, does. Protect what matters most. Grimal and Associates specializes in coverage that's tailored exactly to you. Clients aren't just policies, they're part of their community. Personalized American Family Insurance back service, expert guidance, and genuine commitment. Grimal and Associates focuses on building trusted relationships and providing peace of mind. The same values they've had for over 30 years in the Milwaukee area. Connect with Grimal and Associates at teamgrimal.com.
Hey, it's Kyle Walsh, and if you're a homeowner like me, you know how it goes. There's always a project that needs attention, and sometimes the big ones, like replacing old windows, get pushed to the bottom of the list. But I'm telling you, this is the time to finally check that box with Universal Windows Direct. They're running their home improvement season sale, and the offer is just too good to pass up. You can get payments as low as $99 a month or no payments and no interest for an entire year. Call 414-410-2000 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com.
Sip into a flawless summer. Hey, it's KBN's Brad Nortman. Let carbless, ready-to-drink cocktails be your passport to pool parties, patio hangouts, cookouts, and pure summer bliss. Carbless is here to spark a summer of flavor and fun. 0 carbs, 0 sugar, just 100 calories, and of course, all the good vibes. From fruity flavors to refreshing fizz, Carbless stands out in a sea of same-old seltzers. See what flavors fit your summer. Find your bliss today at drinkcarbless.com and enter to win a flawless summer prize pack today.
Associated Bank knows your small business isn't just a venture. It's your dream and a vital part of the community. And we're not just a bank. We're your neighbors. We're looking out for you. That's why Associated Bank offers quick online applications and approvals with funding in as fast as 1 business day, checking with no minimum balances or maintenance fees, and prompt customer service. Explore our products at associatedbank.com/business or visit a branch for more details. Subject to credit approval. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Slide into your neighborhood Century Food store to score the freshest produce, tastiest treats, and everything in between. Now through Wednesday, save on 24-pack Essential Everyday Purified Water, 2 for $6. 7 to 16-ounce selected varieties Barilla Pasta or Ready Pasta, 2 for $3. 6-count selected varieties Klondike Bars, 2 for $8. 12-ounce selected varieties Hella Good Dips, 2 for $3.
Let's get some strawberries.
Attention shoppers. Safe.
Okay. Ooh, pineapple fulfills every need.
While you're shopping, a drive way back, it's a gunner.
There's something goofy going on with the PA.
Need a price check and I'll take me out to the ball game.
See, what is going on?
You're hearing things. We're at Century Foods, and you can't take your mind off winning that ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes.
I'm hoping to throw out the first pitch at a Milwaukee baseball game.
Or attend batting practice.
Or hold the finish line ribbon for the racing sausages.
You don't say.
The ultimate baseball fan sweepstakes at Century Foods. Enter on Century's Facebook or Instagram by July 30th.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin, ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Road America, America's National Park of Speed, has IndyCar coming to it, conveniently located between Green Bay, Milwaukee, and Madison. Check out Elkhart Lakes, Road America. It's going to be amazing this weekend. IndyCar came from St. Louis this past weekend, and they're coming right here in Wisconsin. The largest road course in North America is right here in Wisconsin. Have the great State Fair style food with activities for you to do all day long. Camp on site at the track. IndyCar at Road America is this weekend. RoadAmerica.com to get your tickets today. Ben Brust, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman, Alex Strofe is running the show. Just taking it all in right now on the emotions of Packer fans and Jair Alexander. took a peek at the ESPN Madison talking text line, the ESPN Milwaukee talking text line, both YouTubes. Just trying to take it all in because I feel like there's just some built-up anger about past Jair that is unable to separate what was just done with the Ravens.
Yeah, and it makes me think a little bit about if you can put aside what has been done with Jair, but if we're just going to look at the Packers in general versus organizations like the Ravens or the Eagles or the Chiefs, we talk about how it's so rare that the Packers ever feel like they're going all in, right? But the pushback on that is, well, we don't want to mortgage the future, which I actually understand that. How consistent the Packers are contending in the conversation, making the playoffs, it's nothing short of admirable, right? It really is. But there are certain things you can do to improve your team at a low risk to your team where you're not mortgaging the future, right? Because I think when we say, hey, we want the Packers to go for it, we want them to actually act like they have a sense of urgency to win a championship. We're not saying go to free agency and give somebody $70 million guaranteed on some flyer, on some guy that you hope's going to be a superstar. Moves like this, like what the Ravens just did, are low risk, high ceiling moves that a championship, a well-run organization will do from time to time to fill the holes. Even the Washington Commanders are doing with Bobby Wagner. They signed Bobby Wagner on like a 1-year, $8 million deal last year, and he was all pro. You have to do things that are a little bit outside your comfort zone that are like low-cost risks, low-cost plug-and-plays to make your team better. That's not mortgaging the future, but that is what it looks like going more all in and doing things that say this year matters. We're trying to win this year.
See, I wouldn't be so upset about Jair moving on if I felt like the Green Bay Packers adequately prepared for this next move, right? I don't think that the Green Bay Packers actually went into this offseason knowing that for sure Jair was going to be gone and we're going to move on from Jair, or they probably would have invested a little bit more in the draft and trying to draft somebody to replace him, because I don't believe we have on our roster somebody that is close to the caliber, and they haven't proven to be close to the caliber of what Jair Alexander is. And that's one thing I appreciate about what the Ravens did is they moved on from Marcus Peters a couple years ago or last season, and guess what they did in the first round? They replaced him with a first-round pick. And so, but Ben, I know it's time to go.
It's not time to go. It's time to stay. It's time to welcome in a guest of ours. We had a little time zone hiccup. At least I'm not the only one who has that issue. Strofe, welcome to the party. Joining us now on Kyle Bruston Nortman is Landis Alexander, Jair Alexander's father. We appreciate you joining us here on ESPN Wisconsin. First and foremost, how are you doing?
I'm fantastic. And yourself?
Doing well. Thank you for taking some time to join us. You know, this has been a really interesting journey from the time Jair has been drafted with the Green Bay Packers, becoming an All-Pro, and obviously no one roots for injuries. It's been part of his journey. I would love to hear from you. I saw your tweet about the non-guaranteed money offered by the Packers. Do you have any sense as to why they would not offer any guarantees after all the time that they spent? And there was we're going to reopen this to reconciliation, and this is where we got to. Was there ever any conversation that moved things forward with the Green Bay Packers?
Well, I mean, they sent over a proposal, and it was like a non-proposal. It's like somebody doing a non-apology or something like that. Because basically it was structured with roster bonuses and things like that. And the way the structure of it was more of the problem than the money, because the money didn't really matter. We understand business. We understand that he's been injured. And we also understood that $17 million was we know why they would question that, being as he's had a few injuries in the last few years. So I got that part, but to not have any guarantees in there was where we had the issue with. So it wasn't actually the dollar amount. It was no guaranteed money, because it was kind of like if he plays every game that season, he probably could have stood to make $6 million. But he's not played every game in the season since he's been in the NFL. And that's not even, maybe he missed a game or two or whatever. But if he did that this year, then it would have been less than that amount. So I think it was 4.3 million base or something like that. I posted that on Twitter as well. But I think their thought process was they had lost something or taking a loss because he hadn't played. And I get that part too. But, it's kind of insulting to come to a two-time All-Pro, somebody who gave blood, sweat, and tears to you, and then to not have any guarantees. We knew the $17 million was going to be less than that. I only replied to people saying that he refused to take a pay cut because that just was not the truth.
So it sounds like he took less money as a base salary for Baltimore, though, and I know there's incentives that are more attainable for him. And so it just came down to the fact that y'all felt like the incentives weren't there. If the Green Bay Packers offered a contract comparable with what the Ravens contract was offered, would he still be a Packer today?
Yes.
Wow. Because I think as a show, I know we look at that and say, for what Jair is on the field and how high he still plays when he's out there, that's a great deal for the Baltimore Ravens. Did you ever feel like the Packers genuinely wanted Jair back in 2025? Or was the last stage contract negotiations more of just trying to save face in a way for the Green Bay Packers?
Well, to answer that question, I believe that because of the way the contract was structured, they were setting it up for him to sign that contract as the bare bones of with no incentives, because it makes it more attractive to trade him with that contract versus what he had. Like, you put him on this contract and then you can trade him for little or nothing, and the team that's trading would basically get the steal, and you'd be off of that contract and so on and so forth. So I think that was only structured that way in order to trade him. I don't think he actually plays for the Packers even if he signed that contract.
And real
that
quick,
was what ultimately.
Yeah, and real quick, going back to the trade, I know that Brian Gutekunst, the GM of the Packers, said initially that was the idea, that when you have someone like Jair, and if he's not in the future plans of the Green Bay Packers, you want something back for that kind of asset. Can you take me through what that journey was like? Because it seemed like that was the focus. Was there ever a legitimate trade on the table that the Packers and another team were close to finalizing for Jair?
I think the Bills. I would say, if there was any team, I think the Bills were it.
Okay. And so
yes, as Landis Alexander joins us here on Kyle Bruston Ortman across ESPN Wisconsin, Jair's father, bringing a lot of great info and shedding light to conversations from Jair's perspective of how negotiations went. I guess my biggest question then is, once there were no initial guarantees on the proposal, was that it, or did you ask for a potential to make something a little bit more achievable so he could stay in Green Bay, where it seemed like many of his teammates respect and wanted Jair back?
Yeah, so once they sent that, it was like kind of like a big wow. Like I can't believe there's no, because we looked at I guess Preston Smith's contract when he had the I think it was $17 million, and they dropped him to 10 and gave him the signing bonus and all of that type of thing. We were looking at something like that. We would have probably $10 million. It would have been no question him staying. $8 million would have been no question. But even with the 6 would have been better had there been more of a say if there was any guarantee in there whatsoever.
Were you?
There were. I don't think people can't wrap their heads around. There were a bunch of roster bonuses, and the way that looks is like you're setting yourself up for, if he plays this long, we'll keep him until this, or somebody says that they want him, or it just didn't seem like he was ready to play for Green Bay. I just that's how I felt.
What was Jair and his camp ever given the opportunity to counter what this Green Bay offer was that was clearly unattractive?
I know they didn't come back with anything. Once we sent it back, they didn't come back with anything.
So Landis, when it came to reconciliation, obviously, as Brad talked about, my co-host here, he discussed the fact that the Packers were open to trading Jair. At what point was reconciliation something that was discussed, or have you guys been discussing a contract throughout the whole offseason?
Yeah, it was not very much conversation in the off season when it came about. There was a bunch of kumbaya moments, and before they sent that contract over, I thought he was staying. I was, people were asking me, I think we're staying in Green Bay. Once I guess the Buffalo situation didn't work out, but also I want to just throw it out there that someone somewhere had leaked or alluded to the fact that they'd be willing to release him. If you do that, if I'm another team that is courting him in any way, why would I go and do a trade if I think there's any possibility that he's going to be released?
That's a great point. And another question, kind of is what Kyle was saying. So you said there were some kumbaya moments. I'm curious if those came after the draft, because it seemed to me that the Packers thought that maybe if we stockpile some more players at cornerback, maybe it'd be more palatable to let Jair go if we feel like we can backlog it. It seemed to me that when the Packers, I don't think they drafted a cornerback until the 7th round. It feels like that's when, at least publicly, it started to hear that, the Packers and Jair might actually reconcile this. Did you see a spike in interest after the draft when it looked like, oh my gosh, the Packers didn't actually draft anyone and they didn't have the opportunity to?
Well, there was more conversation. I mean, things. LaFleur reached out to him his birthday and things like that. I mean, he wasn't upset or angry with anybody. He wanted to come back too. I mean, like, I was talking to people today, and they were like, "Well, he didn't really want to come back. He loved Green Bay. He loved the community. We had three properties in Green Bay. Like we were there. I thought that he was going to be there.
Love that.
And that's just to be clear. So it did pick up. His teammates, from my understanding, they all wanted him back. Right. That's how I've always looked at it. And again, Matt LaFleur reached out. They had conversations and things like that. I don't know. Somewhere somebody had a meeting and decided that this is what he's worth to us because we've given him so much and he's not played very much. And again, I get that part, but I don't like that. The narrative of that was put out there, like we didn't want to take a pay cut. Like, that's just ridiculous. Because again, in business, you have to actually be available for these things. If you get 4 years, $84 million, I expect you to play. And not half the season, not 75. I want you out there. Again, injuries happen, and he's not able to do that. We get the fact that you don't want to pay 17, but we definitely don't want 0, and we definitely don't want to. Okay, if you play this game, we're going to give you this, and there needed to be a base. There needed to be some sort of a guarantee of some part of that. Rather, it was $2 million or whatever, but there was no part of that was guaranteed, and there was no signing bonus. There was a bunch of roster bonuses riddled through that contract. It was. Yeah. I looked at it, and it was like I felt insulted, and I know he doesn't really deal with that stuff. So that's the other thing about that is Jair he wants to play football. That's it. He don't care about it. None of that other stuff. It's just about playing football. And if he could go, he's going to go. That's the other thing I would like to clear up with you, if that's okay. The people were like, of course, this injury last year. I guarantee you 100%, had they taken that injury seriously when it happened, he would have been back for the stretch of the season at the end. Because the PCL thing, they dealt with it. It was said that he would be back in 3 to 4 weeks or whatever. The problem with that was when that happened, he went back out there and tried to work and go, and he was cutting and he couldn't do something, and he was like, this hurts. I'm in pain right now and I can't do this thing. He tried to go out there with Chicago, same situation. And then they did the knee scope later, and they found a lot of stuff that had been he had injured before. There were old injuries in there that were keeping him from being able to do that. So had you scoped it 3-4 weeks prior to that, then he would have been back for you. So why you had done IR for the beginning with
Landon? So that's my big question, is that it seemed like the Green Bay Packers were surprised when they found out that Jair wasn't going to come back. So whose fault is that? Is that Jair? Is that the team doctor? Because at some point, somebody has to be honest about how did Jair all of a sudden go from about to play to having to be out for the season? And it seemed like the Green Bay Packers painted the picture that it was more Jair just not going out there and toughening through an injury.
And that's exactly. Those are the misnomers. I want to make sure that I clear that up. That wasn't the case. The situation was you probably should have taken it more serious from the beginning. He probably should have had a knee scope 3-4 weeks prior to that. During the time that they said it was the PCL, okay, PCL did heal. They were right about it. It was a torn PCL. It did heal in 3-4 weeks. The problem was the other stuff that was in there. And I have all the pictures of it and everything that they saw before and everything that they took out after the scope. So he really had a bigger problem than the PCL.
Yeah, Landis Alexander, Jair's father, joining us here on Kyle Brust and Ortman. And I will say I really appreciate you taking some time to share the insights from your perspective and Jair's perspective. And it sounds like you've done your due diligence. Congratulations on a new opportunity for your son in Baltimore. do you and Jair have the December 27th date already circled on the calendar? Not as revenge, but as a fun opportunity to play against those that he is friends with and will look forward to competing with.
No, man, we love those guys. We love that team. We love that city, man. Nah, it's not that. We're gonna play everybody the same. It's gonna be hard. And the other biggest thing is that Green Bay let him go when he was feeling his best. I promise you that he is in better condition than he's been since 2018.
So y'all gonna make us pay? I hope not, right? That's not what you're saying.
I'm saying everybody should be on notice because you're going to get your best version of him that he's been since he came to the league.
Okay, we're going to see all-pro Jair. I love it, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you for joining.
Yeah, Landis, thank you for the time. We appreciate the insight. Best of luck to you and the family.
Thank you guys for having me.
That is Landis. Yes, absolutely. That is Landis Alexander, the father of Jair Alexander, shedding some insight as to, from their perspective, how things went down in negotiations with the Green Bay Packers. We're going to take a quick break and definitely react to some very interesting things he had to say.
Yeah,
Kyle, I mean, you want to hear from the horse's mouth. I could go Tommy Boy on you on the butcher line, but I won't butcher that line right now. We'll be back in a short time.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman.
I'm sorry that I don't want to touch Ben's Peter.
On ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. You remember the moments from that magical March.
Side Decker. It's a three. Got it!
On June 26th, celebrate the squad with Made 'em Believe. A special night with Bo Ryan, Frank Kaminsky, and Sam Decker.
Here's Kaminsky. The drop stab. That's his favorite. And the two.
Presented by Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, Potosi Varsity Ale, and Potosi Hard Seltzer. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe. June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Summer in Milwaukee means a couple of things: Brewers baseball and live music. Get the best of both when the Brewers take on the Rockies June 27th, featuring a post-game concert by Nelly. Then the first 25,000 fans at the game on June 28th get a Pat Murphy Manager of the Year bobblehead, courtesy of Toyota. Get ready for a weekend you'll be talking about all summer. Get your tickets at Brewers.com.
Save big on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Suncast Sheds have the storage solution you need for any backyard space, whether it's protecting equipment or storing yard tools. Suncast's durable, low-maintenance outdoor sheds come in a variety of size and style options that will suit your needs. Pick up an in-stock Suncast storage shed today. Plus, check out our weekly flyer on Menards.com for all the great deals happening this week.
Save big money at Menards.
Erica, it's good to see you.
How are things at our amazing Germantown location?
Absolutely fantastic. We heard you had a bold idea. What is it?
We're celebrating our 45th year in business, so I think we should give away some natural diamonds.
Wow, that is a bold idea. How many and how big?
3/4 of a carat. 9 natural diamonds, each one clarity enhanced for maximum brilliance. 1 diamond for each store.
How should we mount them, Erica?
We'll give them away as diamond pendants.
So each of the 9 Kessler stores will have their own diamond pendant to give away?
Yeah, and all a person will have to do is to walk into a store and register to win.
Can a person travel to all 9 stores and register at each one?
Yeah, why not? And people will have from now until July 28th to register.
I'm in.
Me too. It's unanimous, and people should bring in all their old jewelry so that we can professionally clean it for them for free. That makes so much difference.
For the location of the Kesslers nearest you, visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
Summertime is the time for all the big events. Weddings, milestone birthdays, even corporate events. Elevate every event with Noble Catering, a premier craft caterer in southeastern Wisconsin, preferred by over 30 venues. Noble Catering is also the exclusive caterer of Villa Terrace, an east side event treasure. And coming in 2026, Noble's new headquarters, a 400-person event venue in the heart of Bayview called Brixton's Turn. Book them for your event at noblecateringco.com.
This is an ad by BetterHelp.
With more than 35,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served more than 5 million people globally. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at BetterHelp.com/timeout. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/timeout.
Sharon needed legal help. She needed Gruber Law Offices.
When I think about Gruber Law Office, I think about how they took care of me, how they make sure that you get what you're supposed to get. Gruber Law Office. One call, that's all. I will always trust one call, that's all.
Injured? Call Gruber Law Offices today. One call, that's all.
They are the best. I'm very happy.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin, ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
The Green Bay Packers offered a contract comparable with what the Ravens contract was offered. Would he still be a Packer today?
Yes.
That a short snippet from our interview with Landis Alexander, Jair Alexander's father. You're listening to Kyle Bruston-Nortman across ESPN Wisconsin. If you missed the interview, it's available to watch back on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison. All of our full show and interviews are available on the ESPN Wisconsin app. Download it today. Taking your reaction at 800-990-3776, the Carbless Talk and Text line. Couple of takeaways from that clip that Strofe played out of break that Kyle asked. Yes, he would have been back from the Green Bay Packers if the contract was offered comparable to the Ravens, but I think this is showing what the Packers wanted, which just wasn't Jair Alexander, whether you believe that's right or wrong.
Yeah, and real quick, when we asked him about the contract and, what was the Packers ever serious? Did they ever actually want Jair back? And Landis Alexander, Jair's dad, basically said the contract they offered, it felt like they were trying to make it more palatable for a trade partner. So even if he would have signed it, it didn't seem like there was any intention for him to be back in Green Bay. The message was clear to me. The Packers, plain and simple, didn't want Jair back in any circumstances.
Yeah.
They just didn't want him back in any circumstances. We're going to find out that's the right decision or not. That's a mistake to me. In my opinion, that's a mistake for the Green Bay Packers to find a middle ground. Like what the Ravens got is fair for everybody. They either really believe in their cornerback room or they really made a big mistake.
No, it puts a lot more pressure on Nate Hobbs. The Green Bay Packers signed Nate Hobbs because they felt like by signing Nate Hobbs, it allowed for them to have the flexibility to get rid of Jair Alexander. That's exactly what it was. So it puts more pressure. He always going to have to perform. But now for us as Packers fans, when we look at Nate Hobbs, when we look at Keyshawn Nixon, when we look for Carrington Valentine, we should expect for them to play at an exceptionally high level because they're replacing a guy that's a good football player. And according to his father, Jair Alexander's father, Landis Alexander, he thinks his son can play at an all-pro level this year. So, it was a great insight, and it's just disappointing that the Green Bay Packers, again, I understand Jair has not been healthy. I get it. But I still think the risk would be worth the reward.
And Landis got it too. Jair got it. I mean, Kyle, I thought it was fascinating. I mean, obviously Landis has a history in dealing, in the NFL. Jair and him, based off, he's not speaking for Jair, but he kind of is in the interview that we had.
Oh, he's with.
They understood, yes, but they understood. Yes, I understand that $17 million was not achievable. He was paid a lot of money and was not available for all the, they understood the business side. This message, as Brad said, was as clear as day. The Green Bay Packers were moving on. And to me, I'm with Brad. I think Kyle's with us as well. We think that's wrong because it's such low risk at such a low value amount of money that you would have had to pay to get him on your roster with what you have behind. Do we need to go over Keyshawn Nixon's passer coverage rating from Pro Football Focus again? Nate Hobbs' injury history, relying on Carrington Valentine, who I like. But, it's just, the microscope to me all season is, if Jair performs and even plays 10 games and could have been out there to help these guys If they're not good enough, I'm just going to be like, well, why not? $6 million. We're not talking about 16. We're talking about 6 with all the cap space they had. This will be fascinating to see how it plays out.
Yeah, it absolutely will be. And, I did the Pro Football Focus grade for Carrington Valentine, which was in the 40s.
Not bad.
And I did it for Keyshawn Nixon, which was in the 80s. Again, like ranked, of all the cornerbacks ranked, that's where they fall. So you want a guy that's in the top 32 for be a cornerback 1. Looked up Nate Hobbs. We want to guess where he's at?
Well, I mean, based off what he's being paid, if Carrington is 44, then I'm going to say he was probably 50.
You ready?
Yeah.
110th.
Oh, my gosh. You got to be
A coverage grade of 103.
Wait a minute. No, you're not. You joking.
I'm not joking. And,
Yes,
and
you
look,
are.
Pro Football
Yeah,
Focus
no.
is not the gospel.
No,
It's
but
not
no,
but
they're
it is
pretty
a
good.
very good indicator of who are quality and
Wait a
great
minute.
players.
What was Jair last year?
Jair was, I have to look back
Top
up.
15 or something like
well,
that?
over the last 2 seasons, he was 10th. He was 9th overall.
Over the last 2 seasons.
I think last year he was in the 30s maybe because he didn't play quite as much.
His overall grade in 24 was
Just a little guaranteed money, and he's on the roster, and it's not going to kill you long term. And if he plays and he's on the field, he helps your team. I find it interesting.
Wait a minute.
The Packers were.
Time out. I'm not a math guy, but you said 80th. You have 44th, and then you have 80th, and then what?
110th.
110th. That's 190 plus 44. That's at 234. What's 234 divided by 3?
I mean, what is that? Probably like in the 70s?
Come on, man. On average,
An average grade of the 3.
The average grade is a cornerback 3. I mean, that,
man, I'm a
we'll
Packer
see what
backer, man.
happens
Come
on the
man.
field. Hey,
Step up, fellas.
we'll be back. We'll be back in 2 minutes. We'll be back in 2 minutes. But I need Brad to tell us why Gina Della from Pella is the GOAT.
Oh, she is the GOAT for so many reasons. First of all, with Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin, you will be satisfied with the end result. They can match any craftsmanship, color, style, whatever it is. It's all made and manufactured right by Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin. So you're going to love the product, especially when you got hot days coming up here, like this upcoming weekend. Air conditioning stays out, hot air stays in, hot air, and bugs, they stay outside. But not only that, you're going to love Gina and Pella Windows and Doors because of this deal that they are offering now through the end of June. No interest and no payments for 2 years. 24 full months of enjoying the Pella Windows and Doors that they give you, your home's value and the comfort and transformation of your home, all without a single dime leaving your bank account. It's just another way that they can find a way to make every budget work and every home work. And you're going to want to make sure that you did. And make sure you get that free consultation by June 30th. That's right, free consultation by June 30th to take advantage of that deal. Compliments of Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin.
I do like this on the Carbless talking text line because I felt it as soon as he started talking to us. He had everything mapped out. Nick chimes in on the Carbless talking text line. Damn, I like Landis. Would have been a lot easier to stomach this if he was just a jerk.
He ain't no
We're back in 2 short minutes. I know the phone line has somebody who wants something to say to us. So that's next.
The big gig is back, starting June 19th. 9 days, hundreds of musical acts. Summerfest in Milwaukee is the event of the summer. Plus, tune into 94.5 ESPN all 3 weekends for Summerfest Saturday. Enter for your chance to win tickets to the ESPN Wisconsin app or visit summerfest.com. We'll see you out there. Stay up to date on the Green and Gold all off season. The Green and Gold Fix podcast is brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel. Luxury stay, elite play, unwind in sophisticated comfort. Win big, dine, and experience the events in Milwaukee.
Why is life better with American Family Insurance? Because every policy comes with something very special. A trusted agent who's there to help protect your dreams by finding the right coverage at the right price. Save up to 23% when you bundle home and auto. American Family Insurance. Get a quote and find an agent at amfam.com.
Products not available in every state. Visit amfam.com to learn how discounts may apply to you. American Family Mutual Insurance Company, SI, and its operating company, 6000 American Parkway, Madison, Wisconsin.
1, 2, 3 into the 4. Avondale Roofing is knocking on your door. Leaking roof? Man, that's a shame. Call the real pros. We running this game. We patch it, thatch it, no need to stress. Our crew shows up and cleans up the mess. No drips, no drafts, no drama at all. Just tight new shingles that are leak-proof all. Hey.
It's nothing but Avondale, baby. They keep it dry when the weather gets crazy. Hey.
Visit AvondaleRoofing.com. That is AvondaleRoofing.com.
Right now, more than 100,000 children waiting in foster care need our help. The Dave Thomas Foundation for Adoption is focused on finding them safe, permanent homes. Learn more at davethomasfoundation.org.
Gabe Neitzel here. Catch Jen, Gabe, and Chewy mornings 7 to 9 on 94.5 ESPN, WKTI, and WKTI HD, Milwaukee.
A locally owned Good Karma brand station. Broadcasting live from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studio at the Avenue in downtown Milwaukee. This is Kyle Brust and Northman, KBN on ESPN Wisconsin. Here's Kyle Wallace, Ben Brust, and Brad Nortman.
ESPN Wisconsin. I'm Ben Brust, live from the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison studios. Chrissy's running the show here across from me. Ryan Wollersheim fake working. What, Strofe?
Why are you wearing your headphones like that?
Because I'm getting a dent in my Chia Pet buzz cut hair.
Who cares?
Uh-oh. He's having a crisis. He's going through a crisis.
I have Coaches versus Cancer event that I'm on stage. I can't have a dent in my head.
The deepest polo in human history. It looks like you have 6 buttons missing. And you're worried about a dent.
I have a suit in my car, Strofe.
Can you wet it, Ben? What if you just wet it? Do the old, get in the bathroom, wet it up.
Where has that shirt been? It goes past
Do you
your.
like it?
It goes past your. I don't know if I could say that word on the radio.
It's almost going to his sternum.
Good word choice.
Do I need to button a button?
I think you need to button 4 buttons, dude. It's all the way down to your belly button.
It's a workplace.
How about now?
Much more buttoned up.
Look like a Chippendales
Oh,
dancer.
there we go. Those guys are at the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All studios, being Brad Nortman and Kyle Wallace, my co-hosts, and the heckler, the producer of the show, Alex Strofe. If you missed any of our interview, it was very insightful with Jair Alexander's father, Landis. Go back and watch on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison. We'll have it on the ESPN Wisconsin app for you soon. 800-990-3776 is the Carbless Talk and Text line. Let's head over there to Ricardo.
Oh, Canada. What up, Ricardo?
Still yelling at me,
What's
Strofe.
up,
Maybe you
guys?
could have the imaging ready.
I appreciate
What's going on, Ricardo?
you guys taking my call.
Absolutely, man. What's happening?
Listen, man. Listen, I'm going crazy over here. You guys are really getting. I don't know where you guys are coming from with this Jair nonsense. The fact of the matter is, this guy was never playing for us. I don't care if he played for free. He was never available. What difference does it make if he played for $3 million, $2 million, $5 million, $10 million? It makes no difference. He was never available. You might as well have a Ferrari in the garage when it's wintertime.
That's true.
He was never available.
Can I ask you?
What difference does it make?
Can I ask you a question, Ricardo? When the Packers played the Dallas Cowboys, did you watch that game?
I did watch that game.
Were you excited during that game when the Packers beat the pants off them?
Yeah, I loved it.
When Jair Alexander got that interception and was little boy and CD Lamb, were you excited?
CD.
I loved it. It was amazing.
But he never played.
Let me ask you a question.
So that's all I'm
Let me
saying.
ask you a
I get
question.
it. He didn't play a lot, but let's not forget the impact he can have on the field when he does play. I get it. I feel you, man. We wanted him to play more.
And it's such a low price, too.
A few segments ago, you guys named off all the wide receivers in the NFC North that we have to face. That's great. But guess what? How many games is Jair available for those games? He's never there.
If he's available for half,
guys,
it's a win. Because the absence of him is average cornerback play. That's the concern. Without a great D-line to help them on the front end either.
Honestly, you guys are missing the point. The Packers have shown, and the reason why they're so frustrated, we've seen all the years, the doctor said he could play. and he doesn't. He wouldn't push through the pain. He wouldn't put himself out there like everybody else. So they said, enough is enough. We're not going to keep paying
Ricardo,
this guy for no
look,
reason.
I love you, but we just had his father on talking about the images of the surgeries, of the pictures of the MRIs. Like, it was more than his PCL. There were more injuries, and he, again, you can believe what you want to believe, and I'm not saying what Landis said on our show was the gospel, but if they attacked his injury a little bit earlier, it could have been solved and he could have been out there. I mean, you're frustrated, and rightfully so, because Jair was paid a lot of money and was not available as much as we all would have liked him to be. But this is a new scenario. If you were able to give him a little amount of money, of guaranteed money, with some incentive, and he was out there, even if it was only for 8 games, it's still, in my opinion, which you could agree or disagree with, would be a win because, as evidence as Kyle brought to you against the Dallas Cowboys, he single-handedly helped change the start of that game and helped them get a lead in which Dallas was arguing on the sideline the first quarter because they didn't know what to do against the defense. He has value when out there. Has he been out there enough? No. But this isn't the old contract. This would have been an opportunity for the Packers to bring him back on a better deal for everybody, but they were done with him. We learned that. And I'm okay with learning that they were done with that. But just to act all above Jair like he's never done anything, I think is unfair to him and the whole holistic view of what this conversation is. It's not as simple as he for nothing or 1 million or 2 million. It doesn't matter. It does. It all matters.
Yeah, if you are constructing a team and you were to tell me you can save $6 million if you get rid of an all-pro level type player who you don't know how much is going to play, or you bring him on and there's a risk that he plays fewer games than you want. Get for $4 million. It is such a low deal. You know what I love in the grocery store, or when I go to any given store? I love the sale aisle. Don't you, Kyle?
Oh, I love me a good sale.
I love the sale.
Clearance, baby.
Every once in a while, there'll be like a protein bar, a box of protein bars. I'm like, oh my gosh, these are on sale. These are normally $20. They're on sale for $7, and they're just good. Maybe it's not perfect, but they're just good. A sale is something that we can all appreciate. Jair Alexander, he's on sale. Now, he's on sale for a reason, but if you purchase that for such a low price where you're going to say, you know what, even if it's not perfect, I can live with that. That's what the Ravens do. The Ravens are a top NFL franchise, one of the best GMs in the NFL. He looked at that and he said, this is a great deal for our team. It's worth whatever uncertainty I might be buying.
Brad, you're the cap guy here. And so what you're telling me, if the Green Bay Packers would have restructured a contract to what he would have been paid $6 million from the 16.8 or 17.1 or whatever he's supposed to be paid, would the Green Bay Packers would have saved money?
If it would have at least been a wash. It would have at least been a wash to where they were, because it gets a little complicated, right? Because he was due a certain amount. They would have cut him, which they did. They're going to save $6 million. But if you restructured to a base of 4, so let's say that you restructure to a base of 4, you save $2 million if he never even plays. So your savings of 6 goes to a savings of 2 if he never even plays. And if he does play, you break even.
Okay.
If he plays all those games, you break even.
Okay. Just curious.
Yeah. Crazy.
Ben Brust, Brad Nortman, Kyle Wallace, Alex Strofe running the show. UKBN Nation on YouTube at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison. Battling with each other in the comments. Also texting at 800-990-3776, the Cardinals Talking text line. We'll continue the conversation around Jair. But it is Wednesday, and it is 3:15. And it wouldn't be a Wednesday at 3:15 without everyone getting mad at Brad. It's time to hear Brad out. Next on Kyle Brust and Nortman.
Southbound on 43, backing up from Good Hope Road all the way down towards Bender Road. And then you're back on the brakes just south of Capitol Drive, heading down towards North Avenue and then through the Marquette. Traffic is brought to you by the Bud Pavilion's free concert series, Wednesday Night Live. The Toys take the stage tonight. Gates open at 6. Live music starts at 7. Wednesday Night Live at the Bud Pavilion at State Fair Park. And checking the TMJ4 Storm King forecast. Tonight, few showers, mostly cloudy with a low of 62. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, a slight chance for morning showers or afternoon storms, a high of 81. Weather is brought to you by Infinity Exteriors, dedicated to saving our communities from unscrupulous contractors. Mother Nature can be unpredictable. Your roof, siding, and windows shouldn't be. We install peace of mind with transparency and quality guaranteed. Visit infinityexteriors.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie Lazaga on 94.5 ESPN.
All day, every day. The Carbless Talk and Text line is open for you.
First off, there is not one team that's on the fringe that scares me.
800-990-3776. The Carbless Talk and Text line. This is more. Your state, your teams, your ESPN. The ESPN Wisconsin app. Customizable just for you. Find the ESPN Wisconsin app in the Apple or Android app stores today.
Summer in Milwaukee means a couple of things: Brewers baseball and live music. Get the best of both when the Brewers take on the Rockies June 27th, featuring a post-game concert by Nelly. Then the first 25,000 fans at the game on June 28th get a Pat Murphy Manager of the Year bobblehead, courtesy of Toyota. Get ready for a weekend you'll be talking about all summer. Get your tickets at Brewers.com.
Hey, it's Brad Nortman, and I've got to tell you about my go-to car wash, Tsunami Express. Get your ride looking its best and ride the wave at Tsunami Express Car Wash, Milwaukee's fan favorite for that perfect shine. Sign up for a monthly membership and enjoy unlimited washes for less than $1 a day. Skip the wait with the fast lane and take advantage of great perks. With locations in Midtown Milwaukee, Waukesha, Greenfield, Oak Creek, and Mount Pleasant, Tsunami Express has you covered. Tsunami Express Car Wash. Wash, chill, repeat. Visit TsunamiExpress.com to learn more.
Monica, we've got to hand it to you.
You and the design team have outdone yourselves.
Are you talking about the One collection?
Those rings say you are the one.
And they say it symbolically.
Describe the symbols.
Every ring in the One collection should be presented with a special ritual.
What would that ritual be?
You pick up her left hand and you place a kiss on her ring finger.
Rick, you never told me about that part.
Then you show her the tiny red diamond, flush mounted inside the ring, that will forever be in contact with her finger.
Why is it red?
Because that's when the giver says to the one, wherever you go, my heart goes with you.
I give you this kiss. I give you my heart.
The red diamond is a secret symbol of that sacred moment.
The center diamond on the outside of the ring is for the whole world to see.
But the tiny red created diamond inside the ring is only for the two of them.
The One collection of engagement rings is available exclusively at Kessler's.
To find the Kesslers nearest you,
visit KesslersDiamonds.com.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's Kyle Walton. Right now, UWD is running their home improvement season sale. Payments as low as $99 a month or no payments and no interest for an entire year. Call 414-410-2000 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
We will not relate. So if you don't know what to make of this, then we will not relate.
Time now on Kyle Brust and Nortman, here from our former NFL punter, former CPA financial nerd, Brad Nortman. I'm Ben Brust at the Everlight Solar ESPN Madison Studios. Brad and Kyle are at the Gruber Law offices, One Call That's All Studios, with Alex Strofe running the show. Brad, are you going to pull a Strofe and say, this is a great one?
We've got a first ever for Hear Brad Out. That's all I'll say.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay.
I got an extra notepad today. All right, let's hear Brad out then.
They say punters are people too.
Punters are worthy of breaking news.
No, really, that's what they say.
Raising awareness everywhere that punters are people too.
Okay, let's go to it. Time to hear from the punter. Time to hear Brad out.
All right, guys. We have a first time ever for Hear Brad Out. What starts this weekend? Here in the great
Summerfest?
Summerfest starts this weekend. And I put my brain, my big brain,
Brad. if you change a thing, I will come in there.
Okay. Strope's going to love my ideas.
All right.
I have so many Summerfest ideas. It goes 3 weekends, right? It starts this weekend, another weekend, another weekend. This will be the first ever 3-week Hear Brad Out series. I have so many ideas. I'm going to present to you 2 ideas per Hear Brad Out. Each one is going to be Summerfest based, starting this Wednesday, the next Wednesday, and the Wednesday after that. A Hear Brad Out Summerfest series.
Sounds like you're biting off more than you can chew.
So this is week 1 of the Summerfest series.
You got to win week 1 to get to week 2,
No,
bud.
no, this is Hear Brad Out. Thank you very much. This is my segment, and you guys will sit back and relax and hear the genius that is Hear Brad Out. Okay, I've been thinking about this. Right now, it's 3 weekends, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. No Sunday, I mean. Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It used to be Thursday
Oh, you've been thinking a lot about this, huh?
It used to be Thursday through the next weekend, all the way through 11 straight days of Summerfest. Number 1 of 2 for today is go back to the 11 straight days. I don't like the weekend format. 11 straight days, it's what it makes it feel like a true music festival. And did you know that when it was 11 straight days, before they changed it, higher attendance, more people went. Attendance actually fell when it went to the weekends because of several reasons. One, more competition on the weekends. I don't know about you guys, but I got baby showers, or we've got Brewer games. People are out of town. There's so much more competition that I can't go to Summerfest as much as I would actually like to. Additionally, and I'm not a guy, I'm Square Brad. Something about going out on a Tuesday night.
I'm with
going to Summerfest.
Going up
yeah, baby.
on a Tuesday.
It feels
He
like
doesn't know that
summertime.
song.
Imagine today. Imagine on a Wednesday. You get to go to work. I don't know what Kyle was referring
0%
to.
chance.
I have no
Even
idea.
though he was definitely in locker rooms when that song was popular.
I'm gonna have to hear that song on the way back, Stroke, because I don't know what he was talking about. So go back to the 11 straight days, because even I get the thrill, the adrenaline rush of going to Summerfest on a Wednesday. It feels like summer. It feels like you're doing something that's a little bit against the rules, and I'm all for that in the Wisconsin summer. So number 1, go back to 11 straight days. Number 2, here's where they get really fun. We got all these different stages, right? You got the country stage, you got the indie stage, whatever. Karaoke stage.
Oh my goodness.
Karaoke stage. Now I'm serious on this. What is better? What is better than engagement of participants at Summerfest?
No engagement
you get a
from
couple
participants.
Brad, who is going to Summerfest to watch Linda from Whitefish Bay sing Bye 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 Bye?
But you get a little bit of everything at Summerfest. That's the beautiful part of it. You got a menu of all these different genres. I want everyday genre.
I don't need Jeremy and
Can I get a little bit of everything minus karaoke?
Let me finish my thought, darn it. Because you never know. You're going to expect someone to go up there. They probably got a couple carbless in them, and they're going to go out there, and they might make a fool out of themselves, and that's entertainment. But you know what just might happen? Someone might go up there and just kill it and have the whole crowd eating by their fingers and the whole crowd completely taken by surprise and captivated. I think that the karaoke stage at Summerfest would draw a crowd as big as any other. No disrespect to professional musicians, but they would draw a crowd as big as others because it is pure entertainment. So those are number 1 and number 2. I've got 4 more that I'm going to reveal in the next couple weeks of the Brad Norman Hear Brad Out Summerfest series. This is only week 1. Week 1's ideas for Summerfest. Back to 11 straight days.
On the Carbless Talk and Text line.
And karaoke
800-990.
And there can be instruments.
3776.
There's instruments on the karaoke stage.
JD and Fondy says, oh my gosh, 3 weeks of bad ideas.
Wait till you hear the next one.
Yes, Alex Strofe.
I have great news. Hey, Brad.
Yes.
3 weeks of bad ideas. What day do we do Hear Brad Out on?
Wednesdays.
Where are you next Wednesday?
I have PTO, but I'm either going to record it or I'm going to do it on Tuesday or Thursday.
The following Wednesday is July 3rd. Where are you July 3rd?
I'm also going to be out, but I'm going to do that on
dang,
Tuesday.
for real?
Yeah.
Dang.
So
You're
going to do
KVN Nation wins.
I'm either going to record them
No, you're not.
or we're going to do them. We're doing them on Tuesday. Hear Brad Out's on Tuesday. The world must know. I put some work into these. They are wonderful ideas. They're all right. I have 2 one in each week, next week and the week after, that I cannot wait to share. I almost wanted to do them all today, but I need to keep KBN Nation on the line, so to speak. But to start with, 11 straight days. This is Bradfest. This is Brad Nortman Summerfest. 11 straight days and karaoke stage. You even throw a guitar out there, or a drum set, or they can just sing. Karaoke stage, 11 straight days. What do you say?
Yeah, you know what, Brad? You lost me at first, but then you know what? You got me, because I know Summerfest has this. They used to have this like Johnson's Control Power Stage that's right by the entrance that never really got its footing, but now they made it into like a DJ type place, and all the young kids love it, right? Because they're going to see a DJ, and it's all local DJs. And so this karaoke stage, you know what? When you said when somebody's good, and then all of a sudden everybody's cheering, and then everybody's singing along, just Sweet Caroline.
Ba, ba, ba.
Good times never felt so good.
So good. So good. So good.
See, you know what? You didn't have me at first, but then I closed my eyes and I envisioned. I envisioned Summerfest, and I envisioned somebody getting on stage and hitting all the great notes, and the crowd screaming and singing with. This is what Summerfest is about: bringing everybody together for the love of music and the love of a good town at the biggest party on the lakefront.
You guys have way too much faith in the people in the
Kyle
Summerfest grounds to be able to sing music.
Hell, I can sing. I can get people to sing
Yeah,
with me.
you can sing
Brad
up there,
was
Kyle.
just singing with me. Imagine those who can really sing. This is a great idea. A karaoke stage, and then after that, the main act. You can't go until like 11, but then the main act after that.
Kyle is somehow a middle-aged white guy under those dreads.
Ba, ba, ba. What's the other one people like? What's the other one? That's my boy. Just a small town girl living in a lonely world.
That's your boy.
That's Journey.
That's your boy.
Stroke, do you want to bury yourself alive right now?
There it is. See, look.
So good. You guys,
Just
you
a
can do it.
city boy.
That's enough.
Born and raised in
South Detroit.
See, that could be Summerfest. Sign me up. I like him. Hearing Brad out was good.
Yeah,
Good
Kyle,
job.
yeah.
Good job,
Yeah.
Brad. Good job.
Ben Strophe, what do you say? Week 1 of 3 for Bradfest. The way Summerfest will be improved.
I'm good going back to 11 straight days, but by no means do I think a karaoke stage would engage me at all. I don't want to see some boozed up Summerfest attendee get on stage. I will walk right by them so fast. Faster than Alex Strofe could do a 3-cone drill.
Ben, there's no part of you that wouldn't want to just, check it out, have a laugh. It's the beauty of karaoke.
Brad, they're all going to sound like you. No one wants to hear you sing. Everyone's tone deaf in this world. I don't want to hear a drunk person get up on the karaoke stage. It will ruin my time.
I got something for you. Looking for some hot stuff, baby, this evening. I need some hot stuff, baby, tonight. I want some hot stuff, baby, this evening. Come on, Ben.
Looking for some loving.
Told you. Look.
See, you
Look at you.
sitting here eating my heart out lately, waiting for some lover to call. Dial about 1,000 numbers lately, almost cracked the phone off the wall.
So
Looking
good.
for some hot stuff, baby, this evening. I need some hot stuff, baby, tonight.
Yeah.
This is Kyle Bruston Nortman, KBN.
What's going on? Ben, come on.
It's getting tough. It's getting slow.
Ben, don't be pathetic. Your father's with your baby. They're listening. You gotta be better.
But I'm giving it my all.
I don't know what you're at either.
Stop humping the ground.
Yeah.
Get up.
On ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
Well, looks like we got a crash now on 894 heading southbound at Beloit Road. It's off on the right shoulder, so watch out for that. Southbound 41, heavy from Appleton Avenue down past Capitol Drive. Northbound slowing from just north of Watertown Plank Road all the way up towards Hampton. Southbound 43 still heavy from Good Hope Road all the way down past Silver Spring. Back on the brakes south of Capitol Drive down towards North Avenue, and then the delays kick in from Fond du Lac Avenue down towards the KK River crossing. Traffic is brought to you by the Bud Pavilion's free concert series, Wednesday Night Live. The Toys perform tonight at 7, gates open at 6. Enjoy live music at the Bud Pavilion inside State Fair Park. Tonight with the Toys. And checking the TMJ4 Storm Team forecast tonight, a few showers, mostly cloudy with a low of 62. Tomorrow, partly cloudy, slight chance of a morning shower or afternoon storms, a high of 81. Tee off at Lake Lawn Resort's Majestic Oaks Golf Course. 18 holes lakeside in Delavan. Whether you're a pro or just starting, it's the perfect course. Book your tee time online today at lakelawnresort.com. From the WTMJ Traffic Center, I'm Debbie
Whether you're about to graduate high school or have been in the
ESPN.
workforce for years, it's time to take control of your future. Welcome to Lakeland University, where you call the shots. We use our flexible learning formats to customize your degree path. In person, online, and virtual classes are all available. Lakeland University is designed around you, your goals, your schedule, your future. You can even earn up to 25% of your degree via paid work experiences. Ready to take control of your future? Let us customize an education to fit your needs. Visit lakeland.edu/ESPN to learn more.
Forget average. At Exterior Pros, they bring the heat. They're not here to meet standards, they're here to smash them. From the first swing of the hammer to the final reveal, they're leveling up your home with every window, every shingle, and every single detail. This isn't just a remodel, it's a glow up for your house. Built tough, built beautiful, built to turn heads. One in? Let's go. Lock in your project now and save $3,000. Exterior Pros, where bold meets built. Trust the pros and visit extpros.com or call 262-800-4274.
At Citizens Bank, community banking is you, growing your business with a partner who gets it. It's you, buying your first home with a lender who makes it easy. It's you, building a future with savings that work just as hard as you. And it's us, working together to strengthen our community. Because at Citizens Bank, community banking means you plus us. Visit us at citizensbankwi.bank. Citizens Bank is member FDIC and an equal housing lender.
The Protect the Package golf outing takes place on August 16 at Ironwood Golf Course. Come be a part of the most unique outing in the state while helping loved ones battle cancer. Proceeds benefit the This Time Tomorrow Foundation. Sign up your foursome at thistimetomorrow.org under the Events tab.
Summerfest is almost here, and we're going to send you to all 9 days. It's Summerfest on us. Download the ESPN Wisconsin app and register for your chance to bring a friend and have the best summer ever at the big game. Summerfest on us. Register today in the ESPN Wisconsin app under the Contest tab.
They say seeing is believing. And when you check out what's waiting for you at American Place Casino, you'll definitely believe you'll love it. From thrilling gaming to top-notch service, we're changing the game. Come play all your favorites like blackjack, craps, roulette, and the latest slots. Catch a game at the sportsbook, enjoy great restaurants, bars, and more. If you're ready for excitement, exceptional service, and an experience you'll never forget, then we'll see you soon. American Place Casino. Change the game. Must be 21 years of age or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER.
When you're high, you feel different. Pretty obvious, right? You think different, talk different, but if you feel different, you drive different. So if you're high, just don't drive. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman on ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
At the club going up,
The Cartlett.
on a Tuesday. Got your girl in the cut sheet.
I know this song.
Going up.
Yeah.
On a Tuesday.
Rings a bell?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You heard it in the locker room?
I heard this in the locker room.
Because y'all had Tuesdays.
Good
didn't
song.
you?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Had it going up.
Brad wants Tuesdays back at Summerfest, 11 days straight, no 3 weekends. We'll see if he gets his wish in the future, but this year you got your 3 weekends again. If you missed Hear Brad Out, Brad also wants a karaoke spot in Summerfest grounds for you to show your talent so everyone could sing along.
I just took
Strofe, I need your full reaction as our full-time Summerfest extraordinaire.
I'm also the local karaoke extraordinaire on this panel.
Oh, so you must be very for it.
I'm the only one that
I would say regularly does karaoke on this panel. When's the last time any of you did it?
A year ago at the True Family Fest, actually.
It's been some time
Killed
for me.
it.
Okay,
and everyone's satisfaction.
Brad,
might
we know
I add.
you can't sing.
Yeah, I can't sing.
That's fair. I'm fine with what did it used to be? I think it was 11 of 12 days. They would usually take a gap day in between somewhere.
For I think it was for July 4th.
July 4th, typically, or right around there, they would take like a Wednesday off. I'd be fine with that format coming back. I'm not against that, but the karaoke idea is just god awful.
Strofe, you would die.
Why would I die?
11 straight days.
You would go to
just
every
wouldn't be
day, and you would lose so much money.
I'd take so much
and
PTO,
you
it would
wouldn't
be
get any
amazing.
sleep.
So what? That's what music festivals are about, Benny.
I'm
Have some
worried
fun
about.
once in a while, would ya?
But I'm worried about your health. I do. I do.
I have my Hear Brad Out Summerfest ideas Part 2 for next week. There's one idea specifically with Alex Strofe in mind.
Ooh, I hope the sequel is even better.
It is. I just looked back at the list. Each week gets better and better, boys. Buckle up. I'm saving my best. For the
Now
last
you're really starting to sound like Alex Strofe right now.
I mean, this one was good. I want to know what is
Everything's going to get better and better. Oh, this one's my favorite. This one's my favorite.
I'll say this.
Then
too.
next one. Oh, this one's my favorite.
I'll say this on the karaoke stage too. Not only
Ben
would it be-
hates a good bit. What's with that? Why does he hate a good bit?
I don't know.
That's not a bit, though. You actually believe that every time you say that, it's going to be your favorite.
He legitimately does. He does.
I'll say this about the karaoke stage. Not only would it be entertaining, I think the professional musicians would appreciate it because nothing shows how good the pros are until you can compare it directly with the regular, degular, everyday Joes. And they'd mostly be pretty bad. Then you go to a stage just 100 yards away and be like, wow, these pros really are good. We got to appreciate them more. So everybody wins.
Ben Bruss, Kyle Wallace, Brad Nortman here with you. If you missed any of our interview with Landis Alexander, go back on YouTube. It's Jair's father at ESPN Milwaukee and at ESPN Madison shed some insight to the perspective that they had in contract negotiations, which really weren't really negotiations with the Green Bay Packers. It was what he had said was a non-proposal with only roster bonuses, no guaranteed money, and if I'm not mistaken, no incentives.
Yeah. It just sounded like roster bonuses, and as Brad kind of alluded to earlier, it was just basically the Green Bay Packers going to bring him back on a contract and never wanting to commit to him. They were always having a foot out the door just in case, because here's the reality. The Green Bay Packers probably would have went through training camp, figured out where they were at, and figured out whether or not they felt comfortable enough to move on from Jair after some practices, and seeing when a team actually said, hey, we lost this guy, go down. They went down during training camp, and they become a little bit more desperate to be able to try to potentially deal Jair at that point.
Do you think that Goody got emotional? Because you would look at this, and if you take emotion out of it, it's such a low-risk contract for such a high-ceiling player that even if the worst possible thing happens, if he plays 2 games, he plays no games at all, it's kind of like the price of admission of trying to see if you can get an all-pro. To me, like the break-even's like 5 games. 5 games for that deal for his camp. You're going to get that. So do you think he got emotional in that we've given Jair so much money for so little of playtime that I can't stomach the idea of him being back? So by no circumstances will he be back.
It seems like there's a bigger piece, and I saw this from someone who texted in from Jacksonville. Shout out to Brad's former
Duval
employer, Jacksonville. Duval. He had mentioned the injury aspect of it, and I think maybe that's where it is. Because if you remember, there were multiple reports and of sources that said multiple members within the Packers organization were frustrated about Jair's willingness to play through injury. And when we talked to Landis, Jair's father, he had a different perspective of if they would have gotten his knee taken care of earlier, he would have been available at the end of this past season. So maybe there was just too much there, right? It could be everything. It could have been the money that was paid. It could have been the injury-related aspect of two sides seeing it 2 different ways, and it just was never going to happen from a Packers perspective. But at that point, why even send him the stupid offer at all?
100%.
Why just cut him? just cut them. Like, that's my thing now. It's like, if you're sending them, if you play all these games, you'll get $6 million, no guaranteed money, no incentives. Like, of course he's not going to do that. Like, so I get it. I get it from both sides now. It was good to. Honestly, I feel closure from talking with Jair's father.
Same. My biggest disappointment is the fact that the Green Bay Packers never really wanted to play ball. They didn't. Like, they didn't. They didn't say they wanted to recruit something for their asset. No, the Green Bay Packers wanted it their way or nothing else, and they really didn't want Jair Alexander back. That's the most disappointing part, is that it could have been a middle ground found, and based off what Landis Alexander said about his son, he wanted to come back. His teammates wanted him back, but the Green Bay Packers just did not want him around. And for me, that football decision, I question. If you can get a guy for so low, why not just go ahead, give him that little deal, and if it doesn't work out, it's not the end of the world. So the Green Bay Packers just didn't want him back, and I think as we talk about moving on to Ed Policy, I think Ed Policy should definitely be taking notes and evaluating, and this should be something that he thinks about. If we watch Jair Alexander be a $6 million man and all of a sudden play at a Pro Bowl level, play really well, or lock up our guy next year we play against the Baltimore Ravens, then Ed Policy should be looking Goody straight in the eye and saying, what the hell happened? Because we all know from what his dad said, this was not a decision by Matt LaFleur. Matt LaFleur texted him on his birthday. Matt LaFleur was doing what you do when you want to try to keep somebody happy. The Green Bay Packers, and Goody, you asked, was he being emotional? No, he was being stubborn. And as a stubborn person myself, I know what it looks like. And Goody was being stubborn, and he made up his mind. He was going to say, we really don't want him back, but you know what? Here's this. You want it or no? And I don't like that.
Well, and going back to the on-the-field product.
Brad, I got to do this right now because I got to make sure we get through everything that needs to be done, and that is giving away some Morgan Wallen tickets. 800-990-3776. Yes, that's a hot ticket right now at Camp Randall next Saturday. Morgan Wallen. If you want to go, we have an opportunity for you right now. We should probably make this a little tougher. What do you say, Strofe? Caller 20? Caller 20? 800-990-3776. If you are caller 20, you are going to win a pair of tickets to Morgan Wallen at Camp Randall next Saturday. 800-990-3776. Caller,
let's get the
next Friday.
Let's get the information right before we start giving away wrong tickets. We're giving away 2 tickets to next Sunday.
You sent me no copies, so thank you.
Yeah, I didn't have any. Sunday, June 29th at Camp Randall.
June 29th, Sunday. Caller 20, 800-990-3776. 800-990-ESPN. Caller 20 for Morgan Wallen. Sunday, June 29th. More next.
You're listening to Kyle, Brust, and Nortman, KBN.
Let them know the dread-headed brother loves the Green Bay Packers. When you see me, Goody, let me in the box.
On ESPN Wisconsin and the ESPN Wisconsin app. The 2015 Wisconsin men's hoops team gave us all a march to remember.
There will be no undefeated champion on Wisconsin with an unbelievable stretch drive to the championship game.
On June 26th, enjoy an intimate celebration with the stars of the run with Made 'em Believe. Presented by M3 Insurance. World-class expertise and individual attention. Tickets are on sale now at uwhoops2015.com. Made 'em Believe, June 26th at the Orpheum Theater in Madison.
Summer in Milwaukee means a couple of things. Brewers baseball and live music. Get the best of both when the Brewers take on the Rockies June 27th, featuring a post-game concert by Nelly. Then the first 25,000 fans at the game on June 28th get a Pat Murphy Manager of the Year bobblehead, courtesy of Toyota. Get ready for a weekend you'll be talking about all summer. Get your tickets at Brewers.com.
Men's wedding bands made from whiskey barrels and meteorites.
Welcome to Kessler's.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings discount liquor. If it's a celebrate or tailgate, when you're gonna recreate upstate. If it's a holiday, birthday, any date, you can save at discount liquor.
It's the world's largest music festival, and you'll be there compliments of Discount Liquor. Hi, this is Marie from Discount Liquor. There is no other party like Summerfest. Buy any one 15-pack of 16-ounce aluminum bottles of Miller Lite, Coors Light, or Coors Banquet, or any one 12-pack of Happy Thursday Spiked Refresher, and receive one free Summerfest ticket. Visit us at 51st in Oklahoma and Milwaukee, and in Barstow and Maine in downtown Waukesha.
The only thing that tops our selection is your savings.
See us for your free Summerfest ticket and check out our specials at discountliquorinc.com.
Discount Liquor.
1, 2, 3 into the 4. Avondale Roofing is knocking on your door. Leaking roof? Man, that's a shame. Call the real pros. We running this game. We patch it, thatch it, no need to stress. Our crew shows up and cleans up the mess. No drips, no drafts, no drama at all. Just tight new shingles that are leak-proof hall. Hey.
It's nothing but Avondale, baby. They keep it dry when the weather gets crazy. Hey.
Visit AvondaleRoofing.com. That is AvondaleRoofing.com.
Kevin Moret here for Mentality. Listen up, gentlemen. You're fighting an unfair battle. Studies show testosterone levels in men have plummeted by 25% in just 2 decades. That's why you're struggling with energy, muscle, and drive. But here's a game changer. Mentality's FDA-approved treatments boost testosterone by 30% on average. Imagine reclaiming the vitality your grandfathers had. Picture turning heads, dominating your career, and feeling unstoppable again. Don't settle for today's normal. Seize the day at mentalityhealth.com/radio. That's mentalityhealth.com/radio.
All you have is one chance after an accident, one decision on who to call, one shot to get the help you need. Don't waste it on the one offer you get from your insurance company. Make the one call to Gruber Law Offices. It's the only one you'll need to make. Call us today. Gruber Law Offices. One call, that's all.
If only life had a remote control, you could pause or rewind. Well, life doesn't always give you time to change the outcome, but prediabetes does. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
You're listening to Kyle Brust and Nortman, KBN, on ESPN Wisconsin, ESPN Milwaukee on YouTube, and the ESPN Wisconsin app.
I just wanna love somebody.
105 ESPN.
Hole in my heart. I just wanna love somebody that don't want me falling apart. And I'll be lucky.
IndyCar is coming to Road America this weekend. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com. Enjoy great food at all the concession stands, clean bathrooms, entertainment, family fun. Kids 16 and under are free with a paying adult at the gate. So if you're looking for something to do this weekend, got you covered. It's Road America. It's one of my favorite weekends of the year when IndyCar comes to town. Fast race cars on the track. Plenty of things to do for you, your family, your friends in the track itself. You can drive your go-kart around. You can drive a scooter around. You can rent a golf cart. You can do whatever you want at Road America. You can bring your own booze and food in. Just have a great time. Get your tickets at roadamerica.com. Congrats to our winner for Alex Strofe right off the bat on Kyle Brust and Nortman.
Yeah, my phone lines are still full, and I do not have time to answer all of these, so I would just like to say congratulations to Justin in Lake Mills, who is going to see Morgan Wallen next Sunday.
Can I just say, Morgan Wallen is an interesting person, and he's had his things. And how much I don't want to like him, the dang music is good. It's frustrating.
He's got bangers.
He be snapping on people, doing all this stuff. Well, boy,
He'd be throwing chairs off Nashville bar rooftops. Yeah.
But boy, I tell you, that boy can sing. I be singing a Miami song.
Kyle.
You douche.
What I would like to add to this is if you had the level of fame and money as Morgan Wallen, you'd be doing some stupid stuff too.
Oh, I'll be wilding out. What y'all talking about? I know I'll be wilding out. No denying.
Which is why you, at the end of the day, are like, you know what? That's pretty good. That's pretty good music.
Oh, the music is fantastic.
I'm curious what celebrities would be like in the, pre-smartphone era. If you would have had smartphones back decades, it would ruin a lot of musicians.
Oh, the drugs.
A lot.
The drugs they did in the 80s and the 90s. Think about
drugs.
Think about the Dallas Cowboys in the 90s if they had phones.
Crazy.
Oh, my God.
Crazy.
All those guys would be suspended.
Favre?
Yeah. For real. I've heard stories.
This is a funny story, okay? So I'm playing for the Carolina Panthers, probably my 3rd year, and they have NFL alumni come through and speak to us sometimes purely from the NFLPA or NFL, whatever it is. and there was a former Packer receiver. I'm not going to say his name, but we would know who he is. I'm not going to make tips on who it is. Former Packer receiver. He was former when I was playing, right? And he came in and we started
Robert Ferguson.
and we started talking about making wise decisions. And we thought he was going to give us the whole, you know what, guys, you represent the team, you represent the Shield, you got your careers, your family to think about. He goes, oh, hell, if I would have had smartphones when I was playing, I wouldn't have made it. And he went on all these things that he did, and we're all just like jaw dropped. It was crazy. So he even admitted it. He's like, if they would have had smartphones when I was playing, it would have been a wrap. Yeah. And I was like, dude, I used to root for you when I was a kid. This is crazy what I'm hearing now. That's all I got.
Oh, man.
So not Robert Ferguson.
Not Robert Ferguson.
Antonio Freeman.
I'm not gonna
Sterling Sharp.
Not Antonio Freeman.
Robert Brooks.
Sterling.
I'm not gonna tell who it is. I'll say no to everybody. I'm not gonna put that band's business out there. I'll say no to everyone.
Brad, you turn red as a tomato. When we say a name, you would give it away just from your face.
That's why I'm just gonna say. Yeah, I am an open book. I can't really conceal my emotions.
Put your hood over your head if you don't want to give it away.
There we go.
He already told us he don't want to give.
Brad has
I will
left.
Not tell anybody who it was.
Not a soul.
Nope. But I was shocked. 6-year-old Brad would have been like, "Oh my gosh." Maybe older than that. Maybe 10-year-old Brad.
35-year-old Brad is still saying, "Oh my gosh."
I am. Crazy what happens out there. Morgan Wallen just lives in an era, doesn't condone what he does, where he gets captured. It's crazy.
Him, Chris Brown, all in the same.
Yeah.
I listened to them both.
Did he?
Now listen, I had to drop Diddy.
There are limits.
I'll be honest, we don't really talk about this, but at first I was like, oh, man, it ain't that bad. Then I heard the case and I read some of the documents. I said, oh, no. I said, I can't support this. This is crazy.
Yeah. I don't know how much down this rabbit hole we want to go. 'Cause I'm going to hold back.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pivot just real quick. The Bus family selling the Lakers?
That's crazy.
Really?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
How much?
I don't think
The
we
whole
have a
thing
number.
or a piece?
Majority ownership.
Ah.
They must have been going broke.
That's crazy. We don't have a number yet. But
Well, they're not going to be broke much longer.
I didn't see that
that's
one
going to
coming.
be
No.
It's the valuation's got to be
billion?
the 7-8 billion.
Yeah.
They have to be, I would guess, top 2 or 3 in North American sports.
Of all North American sports?
Yeah, all sports.
Cowboys
Because I'm thinking
won.
Yankees, Cowboys.
Yankees, Cowboys.
And then it's probably Lakers, no?
Golden State's valued at $9.4 billion.
Wow,
the Lakers are
way
more than
bigger
that.
than that.
But they're according
Whoa,
to the
whoa.
most valuable. But
Valuation as of 2024, $7.1 billion, making them the third most valuable NBA franchise. You're right. They trailed the Golden State Warriors and the New York Knicks.
Guess
No
what?
kidding.
Because Golden State got a new arena, but guess what? They're gonna make over $9 billion.
I was going to say, they probably sell them for 10.
Yeah, it's the Lakers.
Yeah.
And you have LeBron James, you have Luka.
And somebody swash with money will just be like, I got to have
What was
them.
that word?
Swash?
I like that.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think it's a
I don't
word.
know
Only
if I know what it
people
means,
with
but I
money
think it's
know that word.
Yeah, my broke behind. I didn't know what that meant.
Yeah.
There's a different word.
Ben, you got
If you
money. Are
have-
you
I'm
swashed?
strapped
If you have-
for cash. Strapped for cash.
If you have like $20, $25 laying around, you can go to uwhoops2015.com to support Made 'em Believe, a live event coming to you at the Orpheum in Madison on Thursday. I'll be hosting to celebrate the 2015 team of Sam Decker, Bo Ryan, Frank Kaminsky, Josh Gosser, and a whole lot planned. So get your tickets at uwhoops2015.com. We keep 1430 ESPN Beaver Dam. I got it right, Strope. Jim, Matt, and Molly are up next
No, you don't
in
today.
Madison,
We're-
and we're
no,
with
not
you.
today.
Ugh,
That was the last 2 days.
2 minutes. We'll be back.
We've got a few accidents to deal with right now. First of all, westbound 94 at 70th Street. We have the right lane blocked. Emergency crews are on the scene. It's a pretty crunched up car, so you want to be extra careful. That right lane blocked, making for a nasty delay coming out of the Marquette all the way to 70th. On the eastbound side, we've got delays from Highway 164 all the way through to Calhoun, and then you're back on the brakes from 84th Street past the accident scene as folks slow down to take a look. Got another accident on southbound 43, the Rock Freeway, just